We're back after a long All-Star break for this guy.
Wasn't that long
Yes, it was.
for you?
Well, it was long since we taped the podcast.
Okay.
Can I get back to the intro now?
Go ahead, do your thing.
All right. We're back after the All-Star weekend, pressing forward to the last third of the season as the Raptors try to make it to their first ever NBA Finals. And the player who can help them do that, Jeremy Lin, joining us later. But for now, I thought you were going to do that.
No, I got you.
What's good, brother? Welcome to Inside the Green Room with Danny Green.
Yeah, we're
I'm
here.
Harris. That was like our longest intro we've probably taped so
Hey,
far.
man.
It worked.
For sure.
It worked.
I think the fans like it.
Yeah.
They better appreciate it.
How are you doing, man? You feeling good?
I'm good. I'm great. I had a little bit of time off, a little bit of time to relax. As long as you thought the break was, it wasn't that long for most guys, especially if you were at All-Star in Charlotte participating, and you have like 2 or 3 days after that to relax. But it was good.
See, the people like me who like to watch basketball don't get to play. It's a long ass break.
Yeah, I already know. Like,
There's
when's
no
the next
game. Sunday
no
wasn't a game.
Yeah, not really.
Saturday, we did get to watch you play, so I guess we could talk about that. How was
Contest?
the 3-point contest? Now that it's over, what are your final thoughts?
I was hoping I would just be able to win and not ever go back again, but unfortunately, now I have to continue to keep trying to get invited again and try to win one. Because All-Star is a time that most guys, they enjoy it, but they don't like to be going every year. It's hectic. It's time-consuming. Guys rather just enjoy their break. Well, me especially. I like to speak on that. For me, I can't speak for everybody else. But so it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. Got a chance to bond with some great players, great shooters. Some of the best talent in the world is there. Broadcast the Rising Stars game, which was new and fun.
Yeah.
And they made it easy. Was with my guy Frank Kaminsky. And
you guys were solid.
Yeah, we're decent, man.
You didn't use the notes.
Adam made it easy for us. So he made it easy for us. I didn't use the notes you got me. Sorry. I had a bad habit of doing that. I think a lot of people had a bad habit. So I got dressed. The notes were right there on the bed, and I just left the room with the notes on the bed. You did a good job, though. You used color highlighters and all types of.
Try to be a team player.
He did good. He left some notes. Sorry I couldn't use them. I even left the notes they gave me. They gave me notes.
Oh, so you just.
I left them in the back, like damn. But they brought them out to me. They brought them out to me.
Yeah.
And surprised that I didn't really use those that much either. So we just talked it up, and talked basketball, made some funny stuff going on. But it was good. It was cool.
So now going back to the 3-point competition. Now you're getting ready to play again.
Mm-hmm.
How does? You're a professional basketball player, but there's still somewhat of a change now going back to the regular 3-point shot.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I also changed my shot for the competition because I knew I would, tire out doing more jump shooting, and I probably wouldn't make it around as fast, So, but it wasn't that much of a difference. I was already shooting before that, and after that, shooting different the way I shoot normally. But made some adjustments just for the contest, which I thought helped and worked. It would have been nice to make it to the second round at least, but I didn't. And I was one money ball away, and I missed my last 2 money balls.
Is that you gonna blame that on me too, or is that yourself?
No, I'm not gonna blame that on you.
You're gonna take the blame for yourself this time
Yeah,
around?
I mean, I for sure thought I was gonna be in the second. My goal was 22 plus. I got 23, but I knew after shooting upstairs with them, warming up, that I was probably gonna need more. And they were shooting the ball, they were shooting lights out, and I was like, man, I probably need like 25 plus. So, but yeah, Kalo was he's like, yo, we got a second round, and I was hyped. And I actually went in the back, to change, and the little secret thing that we talked about.
Are you still not going to reveal it yet?
No, I'll reveal it.
Okay.
It was funny because Blake Griffin's heckling me the whole time. He came to just watch me lose, and Blake, when they come to the town, we're gonna get him on the pod hopefully.
Wait, why was he?
I don't know, man.
This?
I don't know.
Why
he's just a character. And I was messing with him because I was interviewing him, talking about his beard and how he's related to Dexter, and Blake's just one of those guys. I'm always constantly kicking his ass, just from college to now.
Yeah.
He's just, certain guys that you just can't never win against.
Mm-hmm.
He's beat me sometimes. I'm not going to say that, but, he just came there to heckle me a little bit, have some fun. And I was like, man, and he's like, came just see you lose. He's messing with me. I was like, man, I'm hoping to get to the second round because, I had, a nice little surprise for, the fans. And, Coach Williams was there. I had a nice little surprise for him. And he's like, did you really? He's like, I know you didn't do that. And I was like, yeah, I did, man. Just don't tell nobody. So I actually they had made a Carolina jersey for me. I had a Carolina jersey, my own Carolina jersey, because I don't know where my old ones were. But they sent one for me, so
You lost your old
I
Carolina
didn't lose
jerseys?
them. I just didn't have them on hand.
Okay.
And most of them, and they're old.
Listen.
They probably don't fit me the same. They're old. They're kind of out of style, and they don't fit you the way they're supposed to fit you.
Okay.
So,
Hope you didn't lose your old college jerseys, bro.
I have some at
Okay.
the house. Most of them are framed.
Okay.
My dad keeps them. So, called up my guy Hoots. He made a jersey for me for the contest. And if I went to the second round, I had the socks already. Somebody gave me the Carolina socks.
Shout out Burton.
Yeah, and if I would have made the second round, I would have wore the Carolina jersey.
That would have been dope.
It would have been nice. Unfortunately, I didn't make it to the second round.
Steph Curry
and,
got crazy.
I went in the back, changed my uniform, had my top over it, had it hidden and everything, come back out. And next Steph gets hot. And I made sure nobody seen that I had that jersey on. So when I got undressed, I took my top off with the jersey and, hid it in the bag. And so nobody could ever see it.
So you weren't even in the arena when you realized you got kicked out of the top
No.
three.
I was. I ran in the back. I think somebody else went before Steph.
Oh, it was Buddy Hield, wasn't it? And then it was you?
Buddy Hield went before me.
And then it was
after
you,
me,
and then I thought it was Steph after you.
Might have been. But I went to the back. I changed really quick. I came back out. He's on the last rack, and he's getting hot. It might have been at the time.
You know what?
He got hot, and I'm just like, crowd, please shut up. Because, he's a crowd shooter.
Yeah.
Once the crowd gets going and he starts making them all, I'm like, if they just be quiet for just a little bit, he might miss one. And I just watched it, as I already had the jersey on me in the warm-up that I was not making it to the second round. Damn it.
So you dressed too soon. Not spoke too soon. You
I did.
dressed too soon.
Kayla was like, yo, we in there. We in the second round. That's Kyle Lowry, by the way. we in there.
I think they know.
And I was like, all right, 23 is pretty good. I think I'll make the second round.
Nope.
If anything, somebody will tie it, and we'll have 4 guys in the second round. As quick as I changed, as quick as I got kicked out.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of North Carolina, obviously Wednesday night, every NBA fan was probably watching Duke, North Carolina, because we were waiting for basketball to be played again.
Yeah.
I have a problem with this break. But anyways.
One of the most important games of the year, man.
Yeah. So you came out of it, obviously a happy man.
It was a good game for us. It was a good game all around. It was a good game.
A richer man?
Yeah, man. Some people they thought it was for sure, that Duke was gonna beat us. They're like a shoe in, like a easy money gonna make it. They're gonna win. Everybody's coming out the woodwork. So I bet you this, I bet you that. And Kalo comes on, so he puts it out there publicly, social media. I'm gonna bet you, just cause it's Duke, and I'm just gonna, for the hell of it. He thought it was gonna be easy money made. I'm sure he did.
How much was the bet?
I think it was $250. And I come back to my locker today. I wasn't expecting him to pay me. I thought he was messing around. First thing I see in my chair is the money. He laid it out, and it's crumpled up. Actually, I still have it right here. We just came from practice. And I'm like, what the? I didn't read it, but he crumpled it up. I didn't realize he folded it into words. So it's on my chair.
Can you?
I can't really put it the way he put it, but it was on my chair, crumpled up like that. And I think it was like a.
I think you got it. Yeah.
It was an F. The big F there, and a U. Like he had a big FU, and $250. So, and I was like, this guy, man, is nonstop. He's a character. But I'll take my money.
Don't take the money. Yeah.
FU,
I don't care how you spell it.
But he's like, you should have took a picture of it. I was like, nah, man, I should have. I didn't know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the obviously you enjoy. Well, first off, that play with Zion was out of control. Did you see that?
I did see it after the replay. I didn't watch it because we had practice yesterday late too. So the start of the game, I had just missed it. And like 2 minutes in, I'm like, what the hell happened? Why is Zion hurt already? It's like 30 seconds into the game. But I mean, I wasn't gonna complain. But it was a freak accident, freak injury.
Yeah, I think it's going. I think Duke reported it as a knee sprain, so I think he'll be fine.
But his foot going through the shoe was kind of crazy. Didn't expect that to happen. It might be a different story if Puma's on, but he had the Nikes on, so
Question for you.
Go ahead, shoot.
If you were Zion Williamson, guaranteed number 1 pick in the draft, would you play another game for the rest of the season?
I mean, I would play just because I'm a competitor. And
would your team let you play?
Would my team?
If as a family, friend, like inner circle decision,
for sure. I mean, I guess it could only hurt him to play like his stock, but I don't think his stock's gonna go down. He's still the most explosive kid. But in the draft for next year, if he enters the draft, which I'm sure he will. But for me, human, like in my nature, my competitive nature, I'm gonna play, and I want to get better. I want to still improve myself, improve, and win, and maybe win a college championship. He probably wants to win National Player of the Year or ACC Player of the Year. There's still some goals that he wants to achieve while he's there, instead of just being there and getting 2 semesters in of school and not getting a degree. So, no, I would play, but I don't know if he will. I'm sure he will. Said he likes playing with his teammates. His teammates are very good. I'm surprised, they had a bad shooting night, so I'll take it though.
Yeah, of course you should.
Mm-hmm.
The way Carolina passed the ball last night was beautiful. Over 60
They did well.
points in the paint.
They did really well,
out of
man.
control.
Coach Williams had them ready to go, and they executed. They played smart. They took a lot of charges. Obviously, probably could have shot better from 3. I think both teams struggled.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But the 50-50 plays would help them into get into the paint. They did a good job and keeping them out of the paint and limiting their highlight plays.
RJ Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows him here in Toronto. I assume this is probably your first time getting to watch him play because of the nature of the NBA season.
I've seen some of them. I've seen some highlights. I've seen him play early on.
What were your impressions of him last night and in his totality so far?
I think he's very skilled. But I think you forget sometimes these kids are only 18 years old, 19 years old. They're still very young players. Even when I was watching Jacoby White, he is a very good player, steady, and he's a walking bucket.
Mm-hmm.
But you expect him to come out fearless and do what he does. When he doesn't play that way, you're like, what is going on with him? I'm like, he's 19 years old. He's a freshman. It's the first time experiencing that, the Duke crazies, in his face.
Mm-hmm.
And those kids are the same. As much as they are athletic and All-Americans and top round, draft picks, they're still kids. And, under certain lights, they may not perform as well as you expect them to. And sometimes they're so used to playing with, other guys, complementary players, that when that guy's missing, it throws their game off a little bit. So, but I think they're all very talented, skilled guys that, on the next level can make some noise.
Yeah, my one regret is I've never been to a North Carolina Duke game.
It's on the bucket list for many people.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a regret. I just think some of you haven't been able to accomplish yet because it's not easy to do.
Not easy to do.
Yeah.
You know what's going to be easy for me to do, though?
Let's hear that.
Friday night.
Oh, yeah?
Scotiabank Arena.
Against San Antonio. You think it's going to be easy?
I'm going to be in the building.
It's going to be a hefty penny, I tell you that. It's not going to be that easy.
I got press credentials. I ain't got to worry about tickets.
So that help makes it easier for you.
Yeah,
if you have to buy tickets.
I ain't got to worry about that.
Tickets are expensive, man, for regular season games. So
excited for Friday night. I know, Danny. I know you want.
It's a little different, for sure. We want to play better.
What happened last time?
But it's a little different than playing in that building than it is here. But of course, we want to play better. We want to win the game. I want to do well. Kawhi wants to do well. But it is very different playing at home than it is in San Antonio.
Are you prepared? It's going to be. I don't know. Maybe you have, but I feel like this might be one of the first times you're going to be playing a player that's going to get cheered for, potentially if he scores against you on your own home court.
Yeah, I'm prepared for that. Yeah, I mean, we'll get cheers as well, but it's no different than playing on the road and teams or fans cheering on their teams or their players, or certain guys getting respect when Vince comes here and plays well when he shoots and scores. Obviously, he's a younger player, different nature of the game, but it's all fun at the end of the day. That's the fun part of the game, is playing and having different situations, playing in weirder situations where your fans might be cheering for another guy on another team, or showing him a lot of love, or him feeling at home, feeling good and playing well, or maybe having a lot of stress and playing differently. It's all the things that everybody's looking forward to seeing.
You know what? I'm proud of you though.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thank you. What did I do?
Well, I was gonna say a joke, but let me tell you why I am proud of you.
Okay,
I think you had a good showing All-Star Weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I tried my best. I'm sorry I let people down to make the second round, but
I'm not talking about
Carolina
that.
fans. It would have been nice to wear the jersey.
I didn't expect you to get it because Curry was playing. I thought you'd do it well.
He wasn't the guy that I was worried about.
Joe Harris.
Yes, yeah. I was more worried about Joe Harris and Dirk for some reason, but I didn't think Dirk was going to get around fast enough. But I knew Buddy was going to shoot pretty well too.
No, I think overall though, I thought you had a good showing All-Star Weekend in general in various outlets of whatever you were doing. But I wasn't even going to talk about that. I was going to say I'm proud of you because you haven't, even though I told you I'm going to the game Friday, you haven't referenced the bad luck that I bring, which leads me to believe that the curse is over and we don't have to address it anymore.
Right.
It's done, and we can just go to the next segment with Jeremy Lin. Deal?
I don't believe in curses, but I do believe in bad luck. But we can move on to Jeremy Lin for sure. But that bad luck
If you drop over
energy is not something that we're just gonna overlook.
if you hit 5 threes tomorrow, the bad luck thing is over. Can we
We
just
gotta win too.
deal?
What is your record right now?
I
Are
think
you
I'm,
over 500?
I gotta go back to the record books. and look.
Okay, I don't think you're over 500. You might not be making the playoffs right now.
Don't listen to him. Just listen to Jeremy Lin next. That's all.
Right.
So, Danny, we're now going to introduce your former D-League/G League teammate.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in you last time, though. We tried to do one of these.
We didn't get a chance to with Fred.
That's true. But when we did it the time before that, you really didn't have the theme music on
I gave
point.
you a beat, man. It was not bad. I think it's a little drum roll. It's all right.
That was
we working on some things. We're getting better. So we doing.
Well, I'm going to wing this one.
I got you, man. And
But I don't want you to wing the
I
beat.
got the tunes for you. I'm not winging it this time. I got the tunes for you.
Give me a start.
This is your thing. We got you. We started up.
You got to go with it, though.
I got to. What you mean? I got to go.
Don't just play. Don't rely on your phone.
No, man. We rely. This is good enough. The people can hear this. Yeah.
Can they hear it?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, you ready? Now, entering this set of Inside the Green Room with Danny Green,
He's gotten better at this. He used to be worse.
the smartest man on a basketball court,
Yeah.
not named Danny Green. He upset your tournament brackets. He upset your heart if you're a Raptors fan on February 14th. But now you love him,
You would remember that
or you should.
as a Knicks fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Lin.
Yeah. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. He actually got better at this as we've done it. He's gotten better with it, man. Appreciate you coming on
Yeah,
the pod.
at first I butchered it.
At first, the first couple intros, I think Serge was one of the first guys on.
Oh, I butchered that one.
He's horrible. Pascal, Coach Nurse. Yeah,
We're getting it.
he's gotten better. He's gotten better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You had to make an appearance. We
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
you coming on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff we have to talk about. Obviously, going back to the Reno Bighorns with Danny, your time here previously playing on other teams, but most importantly, Danny, I think the easiest question: how are you liking it now, being a Toronto Raptor?
Man, I love it. Really, I haven't spent any time in the city. I've heard amazing things, but to be in the arena, the fans, Danny was kind of mentioning earlier how people had already gotten my jerseys and my jersey and stuff like that, which I didn't even know they were selling. But that's pretty crazy. So the reception I've gotten is awesome, and I think this is being the only team in the city and also the country. You definitely feel that coming here. It's like,
Yeah, man. I was telling him earlier. I just so happened to be running late for one of the shoot-arounds or walkthroughs, and I had to run into the arena. And I think he just signed like maybe 5 minutes ago. And people were running around with jersey. They had his jersey all in the stores, and people running around. I'm like, you just signed, like a couple minutes ago. But said the fan interactions here are a special one. I was gonna ask you, Jalen, some of your weirdest fan interactions, and also like some of your impressions of the team. Some of the guys on the team. Like, what's your first impressions of the guys on the team? Then we'll go to the fan interactions.
Impression of the guys on the team. Well, one, I would say, has people said this? I think you're the vocal, like.
Surprisingly, yes. Some of the guys, I haven't heard it from the guys on the team, but the equipment guy, like, Paul's like, you know who the guy is, the leader here on this team? I was like, no, Kalo. No, you. Because when you're not here, it's a shit show. Excuse my language, but there's a couple times we have practice, and when I'm not, like, I try to keep it organized, and when I'm not there, I've heard some things.
Yeah.
But
I was surprised by that because in our brief time in Reno,
yeah,
it wasn't like we weren't practicing that much. We had a lot of games and stuff, but I didn't get to know Danny that well.
Mhm.
But coming here, even that first game, he was like in my ear the whole time. It was very helpful. And then I literally was thinking like, okay, if you weren't there that game, I really don't know what I would have been doing. I would have just been even more making stuff up.
yeah. Now, a lot of our team, guys on the team, they're not great with breaking things down or helping explain. They just like they throw you in there, like figure it out. Like, all right, 77. When I got here, I'm like, what the hell is 77? Or what's this? And they're just like, just curl around. I don't know what that. So I know
and
how
that's
it
the
was.
thing. Everyone just does this motion or like mouths something like.
Kalo still does
I
it
don't
to
know.
me.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on.
Kalo still does it to me, and I still look at him like I know the plays. I just don't know what the hell you're saying to me. But so I was there just this summer, so I knew what it was like, and trying to help Kawhi too. And now like I know he's going through, and Mark's looking like, and you could tell he doesn't like feeling dumb or not knowing the plays, and him as well. So Mark's like, I usually don't mess up plays, man, but this is gonna be some stuff, man. So he's like, yo, just help me out. I'm like, all right, I tell him some stuff and help him. So that they're not feeling too out of place.
Yeah, y'all gonna get through it. But it's going back to Danny's point, the question that he asked. I know Danny, the first time ever in his career, you'll probably see it soon. There's a Green Ranger with Danny's face on it.
Traveling the world.
Traveling, like wherever the Raptors go, there's a Ranger with Danny's face on it. So at some point you'll get something crazy. But have you seen anything crazy yet so far as a member of the Raptors?
As a member, no, I haven't seen any. I mean, just the first game that I had played just right before the break, there wasn't anything too crazy. There were a few signs and stuff, which again I was like shocked just that it would pick up that fast or whatever. Because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know I was playing in that game. I wasn't expecting to play in that game, but then I think stuff happened. And my flight got canceled the day before, so I ended up flying in like right before the game. And
hell of a day.
And jumping on the court.
Yeah, you jumped in real quick, and I think that's a good question to lead into. Obviously, as a buyout candidate, you could have gone a number of places. What was special about Toronto that made it the choice for you?
Yeah, actually, the whole buyout situation, like, I wasn't necessarily going to get a buyout. Like, I didn't feel like I had a solid situation in Atlanta where I was just playing, and we were 12-13 in the last 25 games, and so we had been playing better. And also I had a solidified role and I was healthy. So I was already just, being 2 years injured for 2 straight years. That was awesome. Then coming here, I think it was clear that from the coaching staff, from the players and from management, like all across the board, I had people, kind of talking to me about it and making it clear, whether it's to me personally or to my agent. And so that to me was, I was like, if I'm going to be on a team, if I'm going to have a similar role, but you have a chance to kind of go and make a deep playoff run, it's hard to turn down. It came out of nowhere, though. Like, it came out of nowhere.
So it wasn't like something that you had been talking about. It just like right after the deadline, they just started talking, like, randomly came about.
I never, like, so for me, I never had a situation where I was a buyout.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, man, I might get traded because I've been hearing my name everywhere. Yeah. And then literally the trade deadline passed at 3. And then that night we played, when I was with Atlanta, we played you guys in Atlanta. And then, I was cool with Kyle all the way back to a few years back. And, my first year or two in the league. And so he was like, you doing it? And I was like, what? He's like, are you doing it? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, you getting a buyout? I was like, I don't know. I didn't even know how it worked, really. I was like, I haven't really thought that much about it. But
Kyle's
why?
so way ahead of the game half the time. Like, he knows information. I'm like, what? And he's just like, he'll tell you. And then later you're like, oh, that's what he was talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
He like reads up on everything, finding the game. He knows a little bit of everything that's going on.
So I was like really confused at first, and then I was like, I need to, talk to him a little bit and figure out what he's talking about. And so that was really like my first exposure. But after the game, obviously my agent had conversations with people within the organization here. Again, like I wasn't aware of what was going on at the time, but and then a bunch of other things happened. There's other teams that were interested, but again, my whole thing was like, man, I need a great situation if I'm gonna leave what I was already in, and this was awesome.
That brings about a connective tissue that you guys have together, which I want to bring up later. But
speaking of Kalo,
it looks like you got a question.
Yeah, speaking of Kalo, we're gonna do something a little lighter, harder than the business side.
Hit me.
Intros are important. You got one. Kyle has a very it's a unique intro. What do you think about it? You were there, right? The first time. So Mark, his first time, he was a little lost.
You were supposed, as the leader of the team, you were supposed to tell him.
Try to help him a little bit. I did.
He didn't understand.
I didn't see where he was at when I was doing my thing, so I was wondering what he did and where he was at, and had did you feel comfortable with him?
He didn't do anything.
Did you do anything?
Yeah. Well, if you remember when I walked in, I said, "What's up, to Danny?" And I go, "Hey, you're gonna have to tell me what's going on with this thing because I had literally when I signed with Toronto, like all my homies sent me that video. And was like, yo, this is gonna be you tomorrow.
Marcus
Don't let
is
this be
looking
you.
around.
Yeah. So I didn't know. Like I went to Danny and I was like, yo, you need to tell me what's going on. He's like, I got you. And I thought that. I thought you were trolling me at first.
Yeah.
You were like, I got you, and then you weren't gonna tell me. So I asked him like 2-3 times, and right before I was like, hey, you better tell me what I need to do. He's like, oh, it's easy, just pretend like you're doing anything, exercise, like whatever it is, just get on the ground and do something. And I was like, all right, I'll do push-ups. And so he saved me on that one.
Okay.
Fit right in.
Fit right in.
Fit right in.
You also apparently almost fit into Kyle Lowry's jersey, apparently, too. You heard about
Is that
this
what
one?
happened? No. What happened? Well, you put on the wrong jersey?
Yeah, I came to practice last night.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, they're like, oh, here's where all your loops are. I was like, cool. I just grabbed my loops, putting on all the clothes, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I'm like, and I don't know why or where he got this idea, but he gave me knee-high socks, and I was like, I've never worn knee-high socks before, so I was like, all right, whatever. Like, first day, I'm not gonna say anything. So I walk onto the court, and everyone's in red.
Yeah.
And my stuff is all black.
Oh yeah, Kalo doesn't wear what we wear.
So
he wears his own practice gear.
So you guys are in all red, and I
Yeah.
go up to one of the dudes on the side, and I'm like, "Hey, is it cool if I wear black because everyone else is in red?" And he's like, "Hey, man, first day on the job. I don't know if I recommend that, but just do you." I was like, "Okay, cool," because that's literally the only color I have on my loop. Like I don't have any choices here. I was like, "Okay, I'll just wear it." And so I go up to the equipment manager because everyone. They're like, yo, make sure you have your jersey. I'm like, my jersey's not on my loop.
Yeah.
What is this? Hold on, before you keep going. Loop? What is?
So a loop is like
yeah.
where our laundry and stuff is. Our equipment is a loop. It's like it connects, and also we throw stuff. You put your.
Yeah.
Like
some
little-
guys use a bag. Some teams use a bag. Sometimes some teams use
Okay.
a loop. You put your dirty laundry on a loop, and so a loop you get your clean laundry. The loop is there.
Thanks for clarifying for the non-hoopers.
Yes.
Yeah, my bad.
All
So I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure my jersey's not on my loop. Otherwise, I would have seen it.
Yeah.
And so I walk back there, and I'm like, all right, let me just look again. And I like right below 7 is 17, and I'm like, I'm in another man's clothes. And I was like, this is so disturbing. I was like, what is going on? And I like ran back. I grabbed my stuff. I like ripped his clothes off. I put mine on, and I was like, oh, I have red clothes. I have a practice jersey. All is well.
Okay.
Man.
Now, did you also?
Mind you, Kalo does not wear the jersey. Like he knows he's always in black, so he just wears black. He wears his
He
own
wears
thing.
black,
He
yeah.
wears whatever he wants,
Yeah.
basically.
As long as it's black, it's cool.
Pretty much. It don't even have to be black. He just wears his own sweats. Like he wears like sweats and a whole warm up. Sometimes a towel on his head and just doing his own thing.
Okay.
But
Because for me, like I might sometimes go between the first team and the second team.
Yeah.
So there's
So
different
you have to
colors
change
that you have
jerseys.
going on,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and sometimes they do like 8 guys on the first squad or 5 guys on the first squad. Then I'll get bumped to the second squad. So my jersey switches, but his is always the same color, so he doesn't even need it.
Gotcha.
That's common within the NBA. It's like the cornerstone players, like they might not have their practice jersey because you already know.
You already know
they're
what
on.
time it is.
Yeah.
So, speaking of jerseys and numbers,
Mhm.
did you have to any payoff for JV to get 17?
No,
or they just spoke to him about it?
Yeah, I texted him. Well, I told Toronto that I want to be 17, and they're like, "Oh, well, JV was here for 7 years," and I was like, "Can I just get his number?"
Yeah.
So I got his number. I shot him a text, and he literally hit me back right away and was like, "Bro, like, go ahead and do your thing, but just wear the number proudly and like represent it well." I was like,
I don't know if you know
I'll do
JV
that.
much, but he's quite the character, man. He's
Oh,
funny
really?
as hell. He's one of the funniest guys. He's great. If you got a chance to ever meet him or hang out and play with him, he's funny as hell.
Oh,
Especially the fact that like he learned English coming when he got here, and the words that he knows most English. But he's just funny as hell. He's really funny, man.
Yeah, so I was blown away. I was like, all right, cool. Well, 17 it is. I appreciate it, and I mean no disrespect to him, and but he let me rock the number, so I'm good with it.
Nice. Moving forward, or at least let's go back. You guys
Mhm.
both in Reno.
Yeah,
Keep it funky, Danny.
yeah.
Keep it funky.
Mm-hmm.
When you saw Jeremy go to the league, or the day you found out he was going to the league,
Mm-hmm.
you were happy for him, I'm
For
assuming.
sure.
But I have to assume you were happy for yourself because it means you got to take more shots.
Yeah, well, when he was in the D League with me, he still was up and down.
Okay.
He wasn't full time
Yeah.
with us. I mean, he played quite a bit of time with us and quite a bit of minutes. And we had a lot of guys on the team that played.
Steve Novak was there, right?
Yes, we literally probably had a dinner maybe a week or two before with all of us talking about, man, one day we're gonna make it. It's
Where
crazy.
was that at? Was that
It was at like
CPK or something?
it was like a chain restaurant. Like
Yeah.
it might have been like it's a very common. It was an Asian place, a Chinese food place.
Oh,
like,
was it PF Chang's?
PF Chang's.
Yeah.
That's what it was. We were PF
Yeah,
Chang's. We were
yeah,
talking about all the
yeah.
guys in the league, and we went. And I think literally at that table, everybody at that table probably had went on to be somewhere. Steve called up 2 days later. He went to New York. I went to San Antonio. And we had a bunch of guys like Donald Sloan that went somewhere. A couple other guys from that team that made it.
We had Hassan Whiteside.
Hassan
Whiteside was
Sloan,
there.
Patrick
Wow.
Ewing Jr.
Yeah.
Salim Stoudemire had already gone up. Like we had a ridiculous number of
It was
Wow.
great individual talents. Together as a group wasn't so great. We won some games, not many games, but individually we had a lot of good pieces, man, and a lot of the guys went off to do some great things. So, but when he left, was I happy that he?
I mean, you got more.
I mean, I got more opportunity to play more, but
Yeah.
he said he was up and
Yeah.
down. And I think it was more so everybody was shocked of how fast things happened for everybody.
Mm.
Steve was with us for like a weekend. I think he made 7 threes the first day and like another 6 the next day, shot like 80% from 3, and then he was
He's
gone.
out of there.
Yeah.
And then then I left. He was gone in New York, and then next year over in New York, the Linsanity happened. Like, Jalen's killing it, man. He's going nuts. And we're just happy to see everybody do well. It was crazy.
What was what was the worst part of that
The D League,
D-League experience for you, Jalen?
man, there was a lot. Go ahead, what you got?
Everything. It was tough because when we at that time it wasn't nice like it is now.
Yeah.
You're talking 11-hour bus rides. You're talking bringing
Your own gear.
You bring your own gear. And sometimes we would get off the plane. So to get anywhere to any city, you might there was one where we had 3 flights and a 2-hour bus ride, and then we got there and we had to practice in whatever we were on the plane with. And so guys were in just shoes that were totally not okay to be playing in, extremely dangerous. And there are other times where it's we'd be at the gym and it's your practice is pushed back 30 minutes, and we're like, oh, why? It's the 7th grade volleyball team wants to record for a little bit longer. And so I'm like, man, my pride, I have no pride left. It's completely gone. But you didn't know this, but when you came, you took my spot in the starting lineup.
Did I? I did not know that. I did not know that.
I was like,
I just knew. So
dang.
Eric Musselman called me and was like, we really want you, but we have to. And Patrick Ewing was there. We have to trade him for you. And I was like, damn, it would be nice to play with him, but I mean, okay. And I'm thinking
point,
Reno. It's in Nevada. I'm like, oh, I gotta be close to Vegas. I mean, I'm done with geography at this point. And it was a total opposite of Vegas. It was cold. So we had to get our own I'll never take for granted equipment and stuff, because we had to have our own tights, sneakers. I was run down. If I didn't get called up, man, it was over. I had been in some shoes or my socks. I've been playing in socks. We had a shower that wasn't great. I had to get my own ice, make my own ice tubs. We traveled in one van as a group to go grocery shopping. It was very different. 2 and 3 flights to get places. I got lucky because it was an odd number, so a lot of times I got my own room when I was on the road. But I did not know that I took a starting spot. I did not know that.
And there's it's just a lot of some guys have night jobs. Sometimes the tape was so bad where after the game you would look and it was just. Sorry, I'm wearing sandals right now. I just realized I revealed that. I'm wearing sandals in the snow. I don't know. I'm from California. But the tape would be shredded. It would provide no ankle support. There was one game where it snowed and we were at the Holiday Inn and the shuttle was down. And so everybody just ate saltine crackers the whole day until the game because no one had access to food and there wasn't room service. I've seen so many things, and now you get to the NBA where we're divas. We're treated everyone's man, you have organic broccolini again today with freshly minced garlic. This is ridiculous. We're literally divas up here. It's unbelievable.
Nah, speaking of that, I do recall something weird. We had tryouts. We randomly pick up random guys off the street. I'm just is this real? You know what I'm saying? We literally had some guys that just found in the street and just came in and tried out. And I'm like, this guy looks like he was on the block just 5 minutes ago. And now he's on our team. And Must's foul him, get him ready for the game. And he's guarding me. His job was to just foul me all practice. Yeah. And I'm like, is this how they really operate? Anybody could just try out and join the team? And it was crazy. Next, they let somebody go. And he's on the team now. And we're going grocery shopping in the van together. Instead of the tape, you get taped on a chair. It was now.
Yeah, you don't have lockers. You basically have like foldable Costco chairs.
Find your own chair somewhere. Find your own space in the locker room. It was crazy, man.
Now it's different. Now it's like I walk in. I'm like the G League is like it's like
they have way more stuff, man.
Man.
And mind you, they have way better city. They have more cities. So back then, it wasn't that many teams, and we weren't going to nice cities where it's warm. We're in South and North Dakota only, really, and
travel
Idaho,
out of that area.
so there wasn't like New York teams. Austin's one of the better cities, but they have teams all in California now, and so it was way different then.
What's interesting about you guys, and I was going to get to this later, but I think it's appropriate now. Both of you spent that time in the D League, now G League, and then you both had a signature moment. Obviously, the Lynn Sandy era. Danny hitting all them goddamn threes in the finals.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, you're gonna miss or what?
Signature moment. And now I feel as if you guys are both in this area where there's still another chapter to tell for both of you.
For sure.
And I'm assuming that both of you guys have thought about that. And if you could explain where your thoughts are on creating another chapter to both of your stories.
I think more so it's like the reinventation type of chapter. Obviously he had the Linsanity. Now he's been injured. He's coming back, trying to show people or reinvent himself or show that he's still that same player. Same with me. I had a great couple of years and a couple of years where it wasn't so great, and showing that I can just be more than just that player here. They're like, oh, he actually can dribble the ball. He actually can do this. Or he can shoot twos. Kind of reinventing yourself or showing that or reminding people that you're still, not an old guy. You're still young enough to play and still that player and still very much capable of doing that and being that, regardless of what situation or system you're in. People just think, oh, he's a system guy or he just only played that way because he was in New York and playing with. No, he still could play whether he's in Atlanta or here in Toronto. So I think that's the chapter. Or most players, me and him, I think, is trying to just reinvent yourself and remind people that you're still, very capable of being the same guy you were when you played at your peak moments.
Yeah, I mean, he said it very well. For me, like a big part of it is just like when you get labeled something, it's like, oh, pick and roll player or 3-and-D, and that's like everybody tries to slot you into that for the rest of your career. And so for me, like one of the things I've really worked on is defense, because that's something that was a big knock on me when I was in New York. And the last two teams that I've been on where I've been healthy, the last two seasons, I've been top in defensive rating, but I'll always have that when you people look at me, they're like, oh, like he's an easy bucket, and it's like, no, actually I was the top defensive rated player on my entire team. And so like a lot of times you're trying to fight the public perception, but at the same time, like you have to be able to figure out, for me, I went through a lot of ups and downs and going through the injuries, and Danny obviously going through ups and downs. And so you're trying to wait for that opportunity, and you're also trying to like improve yourself and find different ways to be effective. And so seeing that he can break somebody down off the dribble, go get in the lane. And I've seen like his float game, which is like floaters. Sorry.
It's improved.
Floaters.
Yeah.
Floaters is float game.
Yeah.
And all that, like you're seeing stuff that you wouldn't have seen in the past where it's like, okay, that's definitely different. And so, we're both fighting that same fight. We're competitors. We want to keep getting better. We never want to like maintain. Like maintaining is like, basically going backwards to us.
Yep.
For sure.
I can appreciate that. Speaking about reinventing yourself, you guys both obviously know this guy, Vince Carter, legend here. What did Vince tell you about coming to Toronto?
Well, the first thing he told me was definitely the fans. He said the fans are unbelievable, and then the next thing he told me is get ready for 2 anthems before every game, and going through customs every time you go in and out of the
every
country.
flight, man.
And I was like, oh, I did not think about that, but you're right. Like 2 anthems. This again goes to the NBA diva thing.
Again,
it's like,
diva
2
to the-
anthems. Are you serious? We gotta listen to the Canadian and the USA. And then going through customs, it's like, oh, we can't fly our charter jet.
Yeah,
like,
it's not that bad actually though. You can get used to it. It also allows you to kind of take your time.
yeah.
And, as you get older, you do more of taking care of your body and stuff like that. Me and Serge always last ones out the locker room, and I always know that I'm safe because Serge is always going to be last. So I have no problems eating, taking my time, getting to the airport, and then going through. And they leave when we get there. And when you have no excuse for being late and going through customs, and they're like on you, 4 o'clock, you get ready. there's no real time when you have to be there or get there. You just get there and try to get through customs.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
You ever get any slack from Vince about having the Linsanity name?
So actually,
Same question.
so he was in Dallas at the time, and I had never spoken to him before, and he just came up to me out of nowhere in the middle of the game and was like, "Hey, I think he said like, hey, you owe me money." I'm like, or something like, I was like, what? And he's like, you know, you stole my nickname. Like I'm on like a licensing fee or a trademark fee or something like he said something along those lines of like, yo, you owe me, like you took my nickname. And I was obviously Vince, like I had his poster and everything, and I'm like, oh, my bad. And he's like, no, I'm just kidding. Like, I'm so happy for you. And I was like so confused because, you know, I'm like, oh man, like I just offended one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
And then like thinking and then he's like, no, I'm joking. And I'm like, all right.
Nah, he's great, man. Vince is great with stuff like that.
Yeah, he's
it's hard to
literally
not talk
so
to him during the
down to
game and take it serious. Like, Vince, I'm playing against you. Leave me alone. I'm trying to win. I want to beat you. He's like, yo, you watching the game and chopping it up. You know, and it's just hard to play good defense on him when he's like being your best friend. Stop talking to me. I'm guarding you. I'm not supposed to not let you shoot threes. If you hit a three, I'm coming out the game, Vince.
No, that's so true. He's so kind. And then he'll be like, blah, blah, blah. And then he'll like, the way he shoots threes, he's like so relaxed.
So
like,
casual.
He'll just be like fading away, like 1 foot. Like, I'm like, dude, I never want my kids to watch, like my future kids to watch Vince shoot, because it's like he leans to one side, he fades away, and then he just makes it every time.
Wrong way to shoot.
Yeah, but he doesn't miss, and it's just like
he makes it look easy. It's very casual. All the the technique, all the structure is bad. It's like what you don't want to teach your kids, and he makes it. And he makes it look easy. And half the time you said he's talking to you while he's doing it, and you're being your friend. Like, no, stop talking to me. I'm about to come out the game because you just hit that fadeaway three in the corner.
And then I remember asking him like, oh, like you're playing pretty late into your career. This is obviously in Atlanta. This past a couple months ago. I'm like, oh, what's the secret or whatever. That's what everyone always asks him. What's the secret? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, before the game I take Tylenol and Aleve together. That's the secret. I'm like,
what?
Bro, I'm not doing that. That was not what I expected to do. But again, and he was like, no, I'm messing. He's like, obviously take care of your body. But yeah, no, seriously, I need Tylenol and Aleve some of these games. He's like, sometimes my body just hurts. I have to take, he's like, the Tylenol kicks in first and the Aleve kicks in later, so you need both. I'm just like, all right, I'm going to throw that piece of information.
Yeah.
I never asked Timmy that. I should have asked Timmy, but I always knew
you played with Timmy for how long? You never asked him?
He made it look easy. Like, it's just like you would never think he would take anything. I mean, I seen him drink some Red Bull, you know what I'm saying, to get himself going and stuff. He do some stuff on the knees, a little icy hot. But he would just go out there and play. He made it look like he didn't, he did it every day. So he practiced more than most guys. He'd work on his game more than most guys. And I'm like, this is it's an everyday thing. I just feel like his body's just functioning this way. So I don't think he needs anything extra. He just comes in with his mind
ready to go.
It's ready to go. So,
Danny, I want you to elaborate on, and Jeremy, if you could chime in on this in the back end, the way the team is set up. How do you envision Jeremy helping the Raptors? And Jeremy, if you can kind of chime in after that.
Well, I think he came in. I was the perfect time for all around purposes, the team and individually for himself. With Fred being out, he obviously thrown into the fire early with not knowing much. But he's able to just play through his mistakes. He's going to play a ton of minutes. But I think in the long run, it gives us that depth, off the bench. Another bigger guard that can, score or shoot when we need that. Because there's times where we haven't had a great shooting season or great shooting games. But, we always looking for somebody to, give us a spark. And he's known for giving sparks, and taking over games. He's very capable of doing that. So the nights that Kalo might be having an off night or Fred is not, being Fred and being steady, we're going to need him. And even at the 2 spot, we don't have as many wings now. It's just me and Norm. So me and Norm, now we need him. He can play, with Kalo and Fred being at the 2 spot. So I think he gives us that another dynamic of a ball handler and also another shooter scorer, for where it said that depth off the bench scoring wise.
Yeah, I mean, I agree in terms of just coming in, and I played 2 for the majority of my life, and all through college I was a 2 guard, and so I actually really look forward to when Fred gets healthy and I get to play with him because I respect his game a lot. And he that game that I was talking about.
Oh yeah, he went off
Where
for
we played,
career
he dropped
high
a
that
30
game.
piece on us.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, he can go. So I think it's gonna be like, Kalo, DG, me, Fred, and Norm. Like we're gonna all just be cycling. And the way that it works here, it's like the 1, 2, 3 are interchangeable in a lot of ways. And so really, it's just trying to integrate into that mix and just try to bring playmaking, whether it's scoring it or creating plays, getting into the paint and finding open guys. I'm just trying to make as many positive plays as I can.
One question that I forgot to ask you guys about your time in the G League, and maybe you could refer to it as now. What is the best prank that you've seen played
On a teammate?
on a teammate?
Oh man. In San Antonio, we didn't do many pranks.
I know you don't got a good answer. Get away from me.
It's tough, man. It's tough. They didn't really did any rookie stuff. Guys didn't carry no book bags. You get the donuts.
Jalen, you got one? Because I don't.
I mean,
Popovich ain't letting that come out.
Yeah,
Is he?
the most cruel one was this past season when, so in Atlanta, you had to bring one of the rookies has to bring 3 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts to everything. It doesn't matter if it's playing, shoot around,
they
practice.
got it tough.
One time a
it is.
day?
Huh? Once a day.
Okay.
You got to bring it to the first function that you have, and so team function, and you got to bring your pink backpacks and all that. It was pretty tough in Atlanta, but the rookies have forgotten a couple days in a row, and an anonymous veteran. It was not me. But I'm not a snitch. An anonymous veteran was fed up with it and popcorned their car. And when I say popcorn, I mean like you open the door and a ton of popcorn,
butter, all types of
and it's buttered. It's buttered popcorn, and these are nice cars. And so we had, and they're new because they're rookies.
Yeah.
So these are new cars. We're talking sports cars, whatever, like very nice cars.
Flossmobile.
And you're opening it, and bro, I've never felt worse for a rookie. Like I felt so bad. I was like, man, I need to help in some way.
Did you help?
You should detail.
I mean, I ate a few pieces of the popcorn, so in some sense, I did. I did help to remove a small portion of the popcorn that was in there. But besides that, I didn't really do too much to help. But I literally felt bad. I mean, not bad enough to really help, but bad.
Bad. Yeah.
And I was like, man, it really sucks to be a rookie. It was a game day too. It was after shoot around. And then it started raining, so they were sitting out there, and I was like, oh, that sucks. I'll see you tonight for the game. I'm out.
Sit in that buttery seat, man, until you get some detailing going.
Speaking of which, I just heard this today. Did you know that Toronto is known for its popcorn?
Did not know that.
Did you know that?
No, I thought it was like, what's it called, poutine, or whatever.
Oh, that's another
like
story. Yeah, have you had poutine
I didn't know
yet?
that either.
Honestly, I'm a big food guy, but I don't know anything about the food scene in Toronto. And apparently,
very
popcorn
diverse.
Do you want to
very
explain to you? Do you know what poutine is?
Isn't it fries and
Oh, it's what we had in Halifax?
Yeah, we talked about what we had.
Yeah, it's like fries with a bunch of shit on it, man.
Okay, well that sounds.
It wasn't that.
I'm really
great.
excited to try it now. Thanks, Danny.
It was okay. I feel like it's like a late night snack where you're like really hungry, munch it. So everything's good at that hour. When you're really hungry at late night, like but it's okay. It's decent. And it also had what's the name?
What we had?
It was a gyro with different sauce.
Oh, the donair.
Yeah,
The donair.
you'll hear of it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
a gyro. We call it gyro in New York.
We'll get
with
you.
different type of sauce on it. But,
Danny will take you around.
yeah.
Danny will take you around.
Okay.
From my understanding, Jeremy, you're a big superhero fan.
I can be, but I have one like anime character that I really like, but I'm not like hardcore into. I have never watched any other anime, and then the superheroes. It depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marvel, DC.
Well, let's see.
Marvel.
Okay.
A little bit more, but I'm not like that. Like,
No, I got you. But I'm not gonna ask you storylines.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna play a little game real quick, both of you guys.
Okay.
Give me the player in the NBA that resembles the
Oh,
superhero.
nice.
Like this?
Okay.
Cool.
This is sweet.
Batman.
Player in the NBA that resembles Batman.
And if Batman was an NBA player, who would he be?
Okay. It's
This is an intellectual podcast.
Mark Cuban. Batman's basically just a guy with a lot of money that could buy. You know what I'm saying? Like he could buy a lot of equipment.
Okay.
You know, so it's hard to say. Like, he obviously skilled. He learned some stuff.
I mean, he's strong, tall, so he's got to be probably like a low post player. He's got to be white.
Yeah.
I like Danny's answer.
I think.
Superman.
Okay.
If we couldn't figure out Batman, I don't know if we could
Yeah.
Superman.
Well,
But,
Superman is more
we
of a-
just choose Dwight Howard because that's kind of his.
Yeah, but you know you could choose
Shaq
like,
feels some type
guys
of way
like
about that.
That's
you
true.
could, you could choose guys that are like you feel like invincible because of their body shape, like a LeBron or a Giannis.
Danny,
Just control
that.
uncontrollably.
I need answers.
Greek freakish, freakish guys that have stuff you can't teach.
All right, I'm gonna choose John Collins because I was just playing with him, and
He is explosive.
I know that people are gonna hate on him, have been hating on him for his dunk contest, but he, which I thought the first dunk was actually pretty good, and it was a little bit underrated, but he can really play, he can really jump.
Oh no, he's improved quite a bit.
Oh,
this
he's
year.
20 and 10, but he's shooting like
and
he was
over
shooting
40%
almost
from three.
40% from three at
Yeah,
some
he's
point.
I was
He's-
impressed, man.
he's
So the game that
solid.
y'all came here and I sat out and I'm like, yo, he really is shooting it. And
Yeah.
he was just an athlete, but and the Rising Stars game, he did some stuff. He's incredible.
I'll choose him.
I really like what they got going
He's
on there.
explosive.
Yeah,
Well, I'll
I
get to the other, but between Trey, Kevin Herter, and John Collins,
Yeah.
they got something nice going on there for
Oh,
the future.
there's the young talent there is really solid.
Don't let them mess around and get Zion, but I don't know how Danny feels about Zion.
You're a
anyways.
Knicks fan, so you go ahead and keep hoping over there. All right.
I'll give you one more. Wolverine.
Man, it's hard to compare.
Well, can you think about it for a second
yeah.
first before you say it's hard?
Okay. We gotta go. He got claws. Kawhi, man. Defensive guy. The claw. We'll go Kawhi.
That's smooth.
All right, for me,
You can stay with-
Wolverine's he's like a borderline psycho, emotional type of guy.
Yeah.
So
I think I know where you're going with this. I think I know.
choose somebody for me because I'm not even totally sure.
You were saying like a little emotional player. I was going like the Draymond route maybe.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that could work because obviously Draymond, you have to be really really good too at what you
Yes.
do.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I could
Iron Man
go with that.
or Russell Westbrook.
Oh,
Draymond.
yeah.
It's up to be Wolverine.
Yeah. I was trying to think of like the hairiest guy in the league. Couldn't think of one.
I like
Wolverine's got
Russell
the-
too because the way they like the speed, the explosiveness,
Yeah.
the way like it's
Veracity.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very like aggressive, ferocious
Wolverine is
type.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, and we're about to take it home here soon.
That's
but
Russell Westbrook for you guys who don't know.
we're about to take it home here soon, but I wanted to ask you about your experience in video production. I mean, you're hopping on the team now. Danny has his podcast. Serge has this cooking show.
I don't know if he's brought that to you, but I'm sure he's
He's
gonna
a
bring it
cooking
to you.
show.
Oh, you haven't heard about this?
I'm a low key cooker.
Oh,
but
wait,
this is
wait,
very
wait.
different. I'm not
Tell
gonna
him.
spoil it for you.
Tell him, Danny. He has to know.
Okay.
You don't know
Serge
about this
doesn't
cooking
cook
show?
normal
No.
stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's not normal stuff.
I'm out.
I don't want to give it away. It's not so far as Fear Factor, but it's along the lines of being different and exotic, exquisite, and every other word you can think of that's not normal. So it's a little bit different.
I see.
And I honestly don't think he cooks it. I just think he presents it. So I'm interested. I mean, I would love to see what's going on in the back kitchen, but I don't think he's in there cooking it.
He's definitely going to actually be on the show.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear some of the items that have been on the show?
I
You
mean,
should
I
at least
can.
say-
I'm gonna say no, but
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Lamb brains.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the other one? Oh,
Fried
fried worms? Was
I
that
think
one?
Demar ate fried or
worms.
something like that.
Danny had pig face, like
It was
the
a pig
face.
head.
You went on and you did it.
It was a
Oh.
pig head. I mean, well, pig's head we eat.
No, it was
you know,
a face.
after I
But
was
he
in the
ate the
Bahamas
he ate the pig's
and I was with the
cheek.
pigs, so I'm staying. The pigs are my homies now. I'm
He lost a
away
lot of
from pigs.
respect for you.
No,
Danny.
no, no.
I didn't
that's
eat the
cool.
face. I ate
Each
an
his
ear.
own.
It was an ear. We all eat a little bit of pig here and there. So, but it was different. It was cooked differently. But no more Wilbur for me. I made some good friends. I made some good friends in the Bahamas on the Pigs Island,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to stay away from the pig now because they were actually really, really cool animals, man. They're just like dogs. I had a lot of fun with them.
As we have a chicken club waiting for you after the show.
Chicken's cool, man.
Chicken club with some bacon on it.
We might have to take the bacon off right now.
Anyways, going to my point, you have a video production team yourself, and explain your interest there and how that kind of came about.
Well, we just kind of the thing I learned through New York is just if you don't use your voice, then someone's gonna create it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like the way that a lot of people were creating my voice and using my platform, just because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about. Dang, I'm gonna get a little bit like more.
Hit it. Go ahead. Yeah, no, you straight.
I guess
Good.
just like
we keep it real here.
Yeah.
the way that Asian Americans are perceived, or the way that like I just don't think everybody was ready for certain elements of my story, and so they created certain narratives that to me were very not authentic, and they just showed that they didn't really understand me, or they kind of just knew they assumed I was who I was based on maybe how Asians are portrayed in Hollywood or what they seen on the movie screen. So for me, a lot of it was just I want to be able to control my own voice, and so that's where I started doing things like YouTube videos and things like that. And when people think like Asian, Harvard, it's like a big part of my personality gets lost in that, where they're like, oh, he's on the court and calculating trajectories and angles, and I'm like, okay, not really, but so I wanted to kind of just show a little bit more of my personality, who I am off the court, and so just using my own voice to actually build my brand and share that with the world.
I like that though. I like that.
I mean,
that's true.
That's what you're doing here right now.
If you don't use your voice, they for sure will create one for you.
Yeah,
for sure.
As a fellow Ivy Leaguer, Danny has made it sure to me that I'm not that smart. He's humbled me a couple times. So.
Oh, really?
He's
cool.
Okay, man. He's getting better.
Well, you said what?
Cornell.
Oh, okay. So
Couple
you're
guys-
on, like,
So I actually didn't like you for a while.
yeah, I wouldn't either, because you're in the bottom tier of the Ivy League. So, no, it's cool. You
They
guys
let some
always
guys
have that
sneak
whole
in.
like it's like the youngest child getting all like jealous about it. It's cool.
They let
I
some
get
guys
it.
sneak in the Ivy Leagues.
Well, it was because when we had Cornell had their like 3-year run in the tournament.
Yeah,
and
they were legit.
I was proud of that. Those were my guys too.
Yeah.
And then he came along and like I was puffing my chest, best Ivy League basketball team. And then he came along and just like erased all of that. And Harvard's still the best team in the Ivy League now.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect, because I just couldn't get over like the Cornell team when I was playing. Just they were getting the best of me every single year, every time we played against each other. So I have a lot of respect for those players, but
I was drawing up the game plan, by the way.
I see why you're in.
That's why
I see why you got a mic in front of you.
Yeah, you're right. All right, I think that's pretty much it, except for one question, DG.
Go ahead, man.
They wanted to know about the time when Kobe said, "Who's that?" when they were referring to you, and you went out there.
Did he? Oh yeah, I do
remember
that.
And then Danny, I want you to remember a time that you gave somebody the business who wasn't putting respect on your name.
Okay.
But I'll let
Kobe
you go
knew
first.
for sure who he was. Yeah, Kobe.
You think he knew? I mean, obviously he knew
for sure. I know Kobe is an intellect. He watches the game, studies the game.
Yeah.
He might not have known exactly like his full background, but he knew exactly who he was.
Essentially, he didn't give you the respect
Of
that
course
you
not.
deserve. So,
of course not.
do you remember? What do you remember about that showing that night?
Well, I played against him multiple times my rookie year, so I think, he probably. I mean, he definitely should have known who I was. If anything, I stand out when I get onto the court. It's like I don't look like anybody else. So I think he probably remembered me. But I just remember at that time I was, barely like I think I had just passed the guarantee date, so I was still on my brother's couch and taking taxis to the game and stuff. I didn't have a car or anything, so I jumped in the taxi. I was going to the game, and in New York they got the taxis with the screen. And that's where I saw it. Oh wow! So I was on the way to the game, and then they're like, "Oh, like tonight's matchup: New York Knicks versus Los Angeles Lakers." And Kobe, and they showed the clip, and it's like Kobe has no idea who Jeremy is. And I looked at it, and I was like, I was like, man, that's hella annoying. And so I was like, this is where my mind goes. I'm like, I just started like, I'm always like daydreaming. So I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna hit the game winner, and then. After the game winner, they're gonna be like, "Oh, so do you think who Kobe knows who you are now?" And I'm gonna be like, and I was like, I'm
practicing your lines of what you might
yeah,
say.
like, oh, should I say this? Should I say that? And I didn't hit a game winner, but they did ask me that question after the game, like, you think Kobe knows who you are now? And I went a little bit more PC. I was like, oh, you're gonna, I had to bring out the soft voice. You're gonna have to ask him to see. But that wasn't what was going on in my mind when I was daydreaming.
Damn right he knows. You better know. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn today.
But then a couple years later, we ended up on the same team, and so that's all in the past. So it was actually a funny story.
You're gonna learn today.
Have you found yourself daydreaming about the Raptors yet?
A little bit here and there. I mean, for me, I'm more like, I just think about like the playoffs. Like, I'm just super hyped to be, because just being hurt and being out of the playoffs. I was in the playoffs for 4 of my first 7 years, and then being hurt for 2. It was just tough. So I'm hyped to be back in the playoffs. That's really what I think about.
I think over the years of this, a lot of studies they've shown and taught us, how much sleep you should get, how much health you should get, and you should meditate and all this other stuff. With going through all that and learning so many things, they kind of teach you to like visualize. And I think a lot of guys do before the games, when the anthem's going on, where they're closing their eyes or praying, visualizing themselves doing certain types of moves or playing well anyway. Get that positive energy into your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he may not think of the Raptors doing this, but like in the game, this is what I want to do, is how I want to play, and certain moves I make and feel comfortable and be confident in myself. And of course, certain teams, if he's playing against them, it might be an old team. It might be in town, and he might be, I visualize myself, doing this against them or saying this after the game. So I think every player kind of visualizes and thinks about those things.
You know what I visualized, Danny?
Yeah.
Jalen potentially getting his own.
Okay.
His own.
You know what I visualize?
What?
I visualize you not being at the games anymore and us winning comfortably. I don't know if you know this,
I
Jalen.
won. Oh, hey, bro! I was at the last game.
He comes to games.
I won the last game.
We don't play so well when he's there.
Oh,
this is true.
That's
so
the thing.
you're at the last game.
I was at the last game. But we won that.
That's true.
But I was also at the game where Danny had to leave because he had a stomach virus.
Which one is it? Click always to the left or to the right?
That.
Okay.
So, but what we do here, we do take pictures of our
Everybody
guests.
does. Do we have a you can show them what they look like?
Yep.
Everybody does a random pose. Everybody's been here. Phil has been on. Serge, Pascal, and numerous others.
Cool.
But yeah, so also what I heard our podcast is good luck. So everybody that's been on the podcast usually has played. Have had a good
We've
year,
had career
season.
highs after coming on the pod.
Not going. So guys have played well after. Hopefully that's true, and hopefully Harrison doesn't show up anymore. But whatever pose you want to get, or we'll get you.
I'll do. All right, I got my Cali shirt. I'm gonna go West Coast.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
We're doing 2.
2. One for.
So we do one
us,
for you to take home, and then one for us. Is this? Come on. Is this what's going on here right now? What? It's stuck, first of all, and I don't even think this is real. Okay.
If you try again.
Sorry.
First, you don't succeed.
Nice. Jesus, so we got Jalen
again.
You gotta take 3 of these.
We got to film.
Danny's a little rusty after coming out of All-Star break.
Lights are flashing all over the place.
You ready?
Let's start it over. Let's turn it off. Now let's try it again. Now it's on. It seems like it's loading.
All right, this one will be the one I take home. I'm just gonna do nothing because I'm not sure if this.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It looks like we're having some functions though. It's not working.
See.
We're gonna have
you got technical assistance.
Here you go. We're gonna have some assistants, man. In the
All
meantime,
right, there goes my career. There goes my career year. Thanks, guys.
Well, we had best NBA friend. I'm gonna ask him.
Go ahead, ask your question.
But you didn't answer the respect in your name.
Oh yes.
Yes. So at the time, do you remember a story, or you and me remember a story?
It's your career, bro.
Thanks. I do remember a couple times, random times, where people, talk a little trash here and there. Back in the day, Boston was one of those teams when they had Paul Pierce and KG.
Specifically to you.
It's everybody, not just specifically to me.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember one time. It actually was my own teammate. I'm not gonna mention his name. Anonymous veteran player.
What college did he go to?
Actually, I'll say it, man. I'll say it.
Thank you.
It was Tony.
Okay.
So it was one of my younger years, and Tony, obviously, he was up in MVP race, whatever. He's playing really well. He's one of our leaders. And I think I took a shot. I usually do my transition dribble up shots, and I might have airballed or bricked it or something. He might have been open. He wasn't happy. Find me, pass me the ball, da da da. And he usually cussing me out, and I'm pretty receptive. And I'm like, at this point, I think that there you go, we got it working. I was letting him know, like, all right, man, you could yell at me, but, we're grown here. You don't have to talk to me like I'm your kid, da-da-da. And then from that point, I didn't miss. I had, like, a really good game, and it was in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I had, like, 6 or 7 threes in the second half or something like that. And Timmy was talking a little trash to him. Like, you're going to say now, do you? So that type of thing. And I think he, like, poured water on Timmy's seat or something crazy. But I think that day I kind of earned the respect from Tony that day as a younger player. And knowing that he trusted me to take certain shots and like, all right, I think he can handle his own. And from that point we had a great relationship.
He was just checking you.
Oh, for sure. I mean, every vet checks a lot of the young guys, but he definitely checked me when I was younger. And from that point, so we had a great relationship and backcourt wise. Oh, we got the camera working.
We're ready to go.
So sorry, Jalen, I'm not good with cameras, as you can see.
It's all good.
We're gonna try to get this. Is this on the right setting now? Okay, it should be.
You see, he tried to blame it on you.
Yeah,
guys. Is it on the right setting now?
This one's
Finding
for
the
you.
scapegoat.
There we go. That one. There we go. We'll let this one dry out. Hopefully I can cut and edit, him posing 8 times. Sorry about that, man.
It's all good.
This is all yours.
That's yours.
Welcome to our set.
And then we got one more for the wall.
Yes.
There you go. That's epic right there. It's iconic. A picture of you holding a picture of yourself.
Yeah, a picture
We're
within
gonna
a
put
picture.
that on
Only-
the wall.
Only UNC
Only
Harvard
Jalen,
type
man.
intellects would get it. I don't know if you know what we're talking about over here. It's cool.
PIP. Picture in picture.
That's epic, man.
Oh, well, guys, this has been fun. Jeremy, welcome to Toronto. Not
Yeah,
that I'm like
man.
the official Toronto ambassador or anything.
Appreciate you coming on,
welcome
man.
to the
Much
set.
love. Yep.
And how do you know how to say Toronto, right? Like you know how to say it in Toronto,
God,
right?
here he goes.
No.
You do know that there's bagged milk here, though.
There's bagged milk.
There you go. All right.
Is
Welcome
that on
to the city,
is it on
kids.
Surge's show?
Goodbye.
Might be. Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
All right, sounds good.
Goodbye, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Yahoo Sports Canada, Inside the Green Room. You know what the deal is. Bye.